Welcome to Navigating Life with Coach Lo podcast. I am so excited to have my girls on with me today. We are Chi-Town Sisters in the building. Hey!
Hey!
I know, right? So I'm so excited for your yes. Thank you for agreeing to be my guest. I have Lyn Turner in the blue jean jacket with the love earrings draping all down. And then right here below in front of me, I have Yolanda Carter, the one eyewitness. I see you, baby, with them pink polka dots on. You doing it big, baby. So these are my girls. I love it. I have a good time. It is not a great topic, but it is one that is very, very real to our community. It is one that is very, very real to these two particular ladies, and they mean a lot to me. And so I'm so grateful that you have taken out the time to just be here with me today. I am going to ask Lyn if she would share um, what are you doing? Who is Lyn? Where are you from? What's happening in your world, girl? Share your stuff. Can't hear you.
Now, so I'm Lyn Turner, and can you hear me?
Yeah.
You guys got me?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm from the South Side of Chicago, as you said before. I'm South Side of woohoo for the low end, yay! But yeah, born in Chicago, pretty much raised in the Bronzeville, and I'm a hairstylist. I'm also an actress. So now I do a little bit of everything, a little bit of comedy, a little bit of everything. So I got my hands in a whole lot of stuff. But mainly I've been doing hair for a lot of years here in Chicago. So that's mainly what I'm doing right now. And right now I'm currently in the about to make some different moves and about to move around a little bit. So that's what I'm working on right now. Yes, definitely. So
all right.
That's where I am. I'm a mom. I have a daughter. I was blessed with one daughter, and gosh, that is the love of my life. Absolutely. And single. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yes, girl. Awesome. So that is Lyn Turner. And next we have Yolanda Carter. Please unmute your mic and share with us what's going on in your world, sis. You know, we know you from the Chi-Town. So what's going on?
Yes, hello everybody. Thank you for the opportunity, Lolita, for being on your platform today. I am Yolanda Carter, Chicago native, born and raised. I am thriving. I have been in so many situations in my life where I knew that it's the time to turn it around. But I was I was a hairstylist myself in the 80s. Well, actually the 90s. I was a hairstylist. I did hair for like 20 something years. Then after becoming a hairstylist, I decided that I wanted to work with people because I have the love for people. So I end up working transporting clients to different facilities so they can get help and everything. And then I became a live-in, not a someone that takes care of clients and making sure that I feed them, cook for them, and bathe them. And I did a lot of things in my lifetime. I have 5 children, of course. I have 9 grandchildren and one on the way. I am very bubbly. I love life. And, right now it's just about self-love, self-care, and just getting to your next level because your right now does not have to be forever. You can make whatever, you can thrive, you can do whatever you want to. You just have to put your mind to it. And I knew that God allowed me to have purpose in my life. Sometimes we don't know what our purpose is until something has to happen. But we're going to get to that in a little bit. But that's just a little bit of me. I am a 53-year-old woman just finding my way.
Well, thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you. And you're doing a great job at it. So thank you to both of you. I am so proud of the both of you and happy that we get to share this time together and encourage people around us, because the topic that we're covering is domestic violence, and both of you have had your own personal encounters in that lifestyle. And so I just wanted to pause, and I'm going to start with Yolanda this time. And I just want you to share with the audience, how do you define domestic violence in your own words?
Okay, well, in my own words, domestic violence has not only been something that was physical. I myself, growing up, I never experienced any domestic violence um, in the household, watching it growing up or anything to that nature. But because I was a victim of it, I thought just being domestic violence victim was just being physically touched. Someone blacking your eye, punching you, kicking you, shoving you, and all that. But I come to be educated enough to realize that domestic violence is not just physical, it's a cycle of abuse. It's mental, emotional, verbal, psychological, financial, and it's a cycle of violence. It's not just someone's just punching on you. It makes you walk on eggshells. It belittles you, make you feel worthless. You shame and you don't want to tell nobody because of the fact that people are always judging you. So domestic violence is just a cycle of abuse, not just a thing. And it's not just for intimate partner. It's a woman, man, child can be victims of domestic violence. So yeah, that is my terminology of what domestic violence is, because I was uneducated, and like they say, knowledge is power. If you don't know, you just thinking that domestic violence is just someone putting their hands on you.
Okay. Thank
So
you so
domestic
much.
violence, it goes a long way.
Thank you for sharing. And Lynn, if you could just share in your own words what it means to you.
I to piggyback off of some of what Yolanda was saying, yeah, it's just I didn't grow up in a violent household. So I just didn't know exactly what that the details or entailed or anything like that. Um, you when you think of domestic violence, as she said, you think of a physical thing, and you think of the mental, the psychological. Um, but then you think of domestic and domestic household, domestic anything. It's like, what does the word domestic mean? And when you able to break that down and dissect that, then you realize that sometimes you've grown up in a domestically violent household and not realizing it. So I think it's more of being able to just educate now what I know, to be able to educate others of exactly what that means, because I hear so many, especially by me being a hairstylist, I hear so many young ladies say that I wasn't in an abusive relationship. My parents were. I was just in the house, but my dad beat up my mom, but never do nothing to me. So I wasn't abused. I wasn't domestically abused. And you don't realize that, yeah, you are a part of everything that's under that umbrella. Or I have young ladies say, I'm fighting back, so I ain't in no domestic violence because excuse me, I'm whooping his ass too. He ain't just beating on me. So yes, darling, you are in a domestic violence situation. So what it means is being able to break it down and help other people to understand. It means that there's something going on in your life that shouldn't be, that's not, I would say that's not normal, but a lot of it is our normal. but it's something going on in your life that shouldn't be acceptable. That just shouldn't, you should not have to accept that type of situation, attitude, dilemma, or anything, because it's not healthy. So anything that's not healthy in your relationship is something that could be violent to you, your child, or whatever it is. Potentially there's a domestic issue. So how do we tap into it? So when we talk about domestic violence, we want to talk about everything that's under the umbrella of domestic abuse, because there's so much abuse going on everywhere, and we don't recognize the signs. So my purpose is to be able to help you recognize the signs. Definitely.
Okay. Okay. So that is good. Thank you so much. I mean, both of you really gave some insight to what domestic violence can look like. You painted that picture very well, the both of you. And I just want to say thank you for that, because people don't always think about, you're taking my money, and you taking my money is hindering me. You are gaining control over my person. You are stopping me from doing what it is that I need to do. You talked about, Lynn, how when a parent is going through domestic violence, of course, the children are experiencing a lot of that. And even though a lot of what is happening around them is I'm going to use the term infecting them internally, they don't know it in the moment. They don't know that it is a preview of what is possible for their relationships moving forward, because we oftentimes learn from what we see, you know, and so it is hard for us to separate from that. So that was just interesting.
Yeah, I was just pretty much saying what you're saying. And yeah, as a child, it's setting you up for your future. You have to think about it. In a household, we're taught, or as parents or whatever, we want to set our children up for their future so they can be better than us. That's what we want to do. That's the ideal thing. But when you're in a violent situation, you're also setting your children up for what their future, like you just said, possibly look like. Because now this has become their norm. Now they think this is how households are supposed to be. This is normal. It's normal for daddy to slap mommy around and say all the things. It's normal for mommy to disrespect dad and call him all types of names and everything else like that. It's normal it's normal. So now that I'm seeing that it's okay for dad to talk to mom like this, hell, I can talk to mom like this. And I can talk to any other woman like this, because what's she gonna do?
Right.
Yeah.
I have to shut up. I need to shut her up. Or in the female situation or aspect, from their point of view, actually, is what I'm saying. Now I can talk to this guy, like I can disrespect him until like this. What he gonna do? It is what it is. I can talk to him like this. He ain't gonna do nothing to me.
Yeah.
And so it goes both ways.
Right.
It goes both. Fortunately, we set our households up like this because we don't know any better.
Right. Say this. Domestic violence is not only just a one-sided thing. It's a form of power and control. And once someone gains your power, and you become powerless, and you are subject to anything and allowing anything to happen in that relationship or to you. So we have to make better choices on how we allow people to treat us. And we are responsible for our own safety. And if we can't be responsible for our own safety, how can we expect for someone else to be responsible to be there and treat us with dignity and respect? So I think that it goes both ways, and hurt people hurts people. And when you're hurting and you never knew any other way to be treating, you watch this growing up so many years, and it became learned behaviors. So once it's learned behaviors, that means that, oh, I've watched this growing up. This is, like you said, Lynn, this is become your normal. And these are normal things that we all look at because that's all we know. That's all we accustomed to. A person that have never been loved before can't give love if you can't have never ever you can't reciprocate something if you have never really even gotten it yourself. So I just wanted to tell people that it's okay to go through something, but what are you gonna do? Are you gonna stay in it, or are you gonna go through it and go through it? You know what I'm saying? Because it's a way that we have to learn how to motivate ourselves to get to that next level. I knew that a lot of things that we go through in life, we learned it by just watching, paying attention to what we see. I know people I've sat on the panel with, they tell me that I can't love a good guy because he's too nice. If he's not abusing me, that's not love. So some people think that if you're abusing them, that's called love. That's not love. So it's important for us to make sure that we are to what really love look like, how we allow people to treat us, and how we gonna like I say, hurt people. So if you hurting, you ain't gonna do nothing but hurt the next person.
Right. So this question goes to the both of you. So when you think about the relationships that you encountered that were domestic, what that were violent in nature is what I'll call it, that were violent in nature, how old were you when this behavior was introduced into your relationship with your significant other?
Well, want me to go first, or you go first, Lynn?
No, go ahead.
Okay, well, my first encounter of what they call lovers quarrel, because back then it was not domestic violence, it was not called that. I want to say I was like 18 or 19 years old. I had my children's father. He was the first person that started physically abusing me. Because I was younger, he was older than I was. I didn't really know and understand what was really going on, because this has never been something that I've ever watched before. And I never seen my parents even argue before. So all this was like foreign to me. And when it started happening to me, it was something like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And then the pulling the hair out by the roots, the taking my money, twisting my arm, almost breaking my arm, making me get out the car, walking, putting me out the car, not allowing me to even go up and down the stairs where my family lived, not even being able to look out the window, thinking that somebody, I knew this person that was in the next car, not just being able to take my kids. When I had my baby girl, he was the mama, and you have your baby, and my daughter was already like, she was 5 pounds something, then she had jaundice, so she couldn't come home with me. So when she was able to come home, he wanted to be the mother, and he wouldn't even allow me to even take the baby, pick the baby up, feed the baby, or none of that. So that was very hard for me, but I still stayed because I didn't know what I was doing. I was ashamed to tell anybody. I was embarrassed, so I didn't really know what to do. So I stayed, and I allowed myself to suffer to make, for him. I had these 2 kids by him, and I tried to leave, but he found me and brought us back. And my children was like 1 and 2, or whatever. And my daughter said she remember him walking down the alley with him, taking him away from me and stuff like that. So these children, a lot of your kids, when they see this stuff, they watch it and say, you know what, we can remember it, but I'm so glad that I'm out of it. So from relationship to relationship on down the line, I never thought that I was ever experiencing any domestic violence. Come to find out, after being educated, every relationship that I went from was domestic abuse relationship. It was not all physical. There was, some physical going on with a few of them, but it was not consistent. And it was enough for me to like, oh, that's nothing. I'm not going through this. So as I kept going through relationship, it was more so like a mental, verbal, emotional. I even had a mini stroke because of the stress and what people, like they always say, I'm not who you say I am. I am more than what you said, but because of you having maybe low self-esteem and not thinking that you're worthy of having a person in your life, and you just fear of the unknown, thinking that they're gonna leave you, have these children and all that stuff, so you will suffer to make someone else happy. So and I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just going through the emotions, and just being with a man because I can, and they were all good to me. They bought me all these nice gifts, buy me cars, pay the car notes, money. And like they always say, for the love of money is the root of all evil. So we sell ourselves out for the devil for the money. So after that, I begat in another relationship, and this was the relationship that just took just what they say, broke the camel's back, because this person that I thought was so charming, he was very charming, very charismatic. He was like that knight in shining armor. I mean, when I met this guy, he was
Wait. You giving up too much right now. I need you to slow down, because the question
okay.
the question was, in the beginning, you're the skip real fast. So
the beginning.
The beginning. We're gonna stick at the beginning right now. So we heard about the beginning. And so we're gonna pass the mic to Lyn, and we're gonna let Lyn share what her first experience with domestic violence was like.
Okay. Well, that was my first experience. That was it.
Okay.
Well, you gotta catch it. You gotta catch it. She'll zoom off on you. But if I have to say, my first experience was pretty much probably my last, my first and only really experience with that, like that. And that was me being introduced to my daughter's father. So and that was my first experience with domestic violence. That was my first experience. Yes, really knowing, because I was put it this way. My dad used to always tell me, you need to be a lawyer. You need to be a lawyer, because you're going to argue to the end to try to prove your point. You are not going to let nobody accuse you of nothing if you know you're right. And he used to tell me that all the time. Princess, your mouth, you need to be a lawyer, because I was like, Daddy, I just don't, that's not right. That's not fair. You're not going to just say, so I would have to say, and it's a reason why I'm telling that story, that part of the story. But that was my first encounter, was with my daughter's father, actually. Yeah. And I was about the same age, 19 years. So yeah, that was my first encounter. It was.
Okay.
And my last.
Your first and your last. And that's really, really good news, is that you had an encounter and you were not repetitive in nature to the same type of relationship. Because when we're talking about abuse is abnormal use for which something was purposed for. So we have always been purposed to love and to evolve and to grow and develop into greatness. It has never been for us to be misused by other people, to be beat down, to be made to feel lesser than. And so when I'm thinking about this, I'm like, okay, what was it about these gentlemen that you said yes to? that you were interested in? What was it about their person that caused you to be attracted to them? Because I cannot imagine that you met them and they was slapping somebody, or you met them and they was punching somebody. That's usually not attractive. So what made you say yes to him first? And then not only what made you say yes to him first, but what was it that drew you in?
So I think with me, well, I know with me, again, I was 19, so I was young and it just impressionable. Everything was just, I was in the midst of about to become a woman, a young lady. I'm 19, I'll be 21 real soon, you know. Then I have this older guy taking interest in like me, you know, and he was handsome, hands down. 6'3", you know, 225 pounds, nice, you know, beautiful caramel skin, and, you know, these pretty, beautiful, black, gorgeous, curly locks in his hair. He was just gorgeous. So he woo and oohed me. You know, he was 19 and he's sending me roses and flowers and taking me out to eat and to dinner, and my little cousin with me, whoever wants to come. So that's very impressionable to a 19-year-old young lady who's trying to figure out, not quite a woman, but not a little girl anymore. So I was impressed. He was a charmer, a master charmer. And when you have someone like that, when you don't know any better, you're innocent. My life was innocent. Acting, modeling, making my own money. I was on my way to doing what I was passionate about, my dreams. So to have someone to come in, to have the wolf come in the sheep clothing, and you're not aware of this because that's not the life that you grew up in, then you don't know all the telltale signs. You know the little stuff that we knew: domestic violence, black eyes, busted lips, and things like that. The physical. You don't know the mental. So that's what drew me in. The fact that he was a master manipulator and a charmer. That's what drew me in. Am I answering all the questions?
You
Did I get all of it?
You answered it. And yeah. What about you? Yeah,
that's what it was.
Okay.
Well, when I my children's father drew me in, how he drew me in was, first of all, I met him at a party, and he was tall, dark, and had this, like, that's when Jerry curls was in, y'all. Jerry curls was in then. But for some reason, this guy, he was tall. He had on, you know, when leather was in, his leather suit. He always dressed nice, and he was, he was a guitarist. So he would, and he could sing. It's like, man, if you could sing or whatever, you could just, oh my God, I just melt like butter, okay? So I felt that, man, you know, he was very, very charming. He would always have this type of smile on his face, and he was funny. So he would just make me feel special. And also he was much older than I was. He had a car, and I was able to get a ride to school. You know, people my age. I'm like, I don't think I was really hanging around people my age. I was always old, hanging with old people. So yeah, for him to have a car and take me where I needed to go and stuff like that, I didn't see down far what was going to happen down there. I was just living for right then. So yeah, so he was really like, he wooed me too.
Okay,
yeah.
so it sounds
like me real good.
It sounds like you were both very young. You were young ladies. You were attracted to the physical, so his image and his ability to do things for you. were the means of drawing you in. And so I want to just ask you, um when you were drawn in and now the reality sets in and he strikes you for the first time, what did you do next?
Whoa, that was like unexpected. It was really unexpected because I didn't think that I could ever done anything to nobody to be strike any type of way. I believe that the first time was, I think we went somewhere, and I think that I was looking in the next car or something, and all of a sudden he was like Dr. Jekyll Hyde, and he just stole on me, and I'm like, what's wrong? But I was in shock, so I didn't say nothing because I just didn't want it to happen again. So I never said anything, and I don't think even think couldn't remember if he even apologized. I think that anytime that the abuse came, it was always no sorry, I apologize. It was just always that we just gonna start off like never happened the next day, or he would force sex on me. How do you want to have sex with somebody after they abuse you? But some men, they feel like that's their way of apologizing. So I guess that was his way of apologizing, and I was feeling so angry with myself. So that was the first encounter of that in my book, first.
So Yolanda, so you're saying that you were shocked and
Not a
there
good one.
really wasn't a response. You just kind of took it in and for fear of what could happen next at his hands. So yeah, and I could only
Yes.
imagine that is rather shocking. So I could only imagine. Um and then I will go further to say, what made you stay at that point? Did you have your children at this point once the abuse started?
The first Yeah, the first time he ever hit me was after the children were born. That was the first time, because before they were born, we was just having a good time. I was in hair school, so I didn't have time. I would cook, and he was staying with me, and it was it was all good. It wasn't nothing that I was no red flag. Maybe I seen the red flags, but I didn't know what they were, because he was a ladies' man, first of all. He was truly a ladies' man, and he had a lot of females that was around and would call him and stuff. And that was kind of question mark. That was a question mark for me too. But he was all, first of all, back then they were doing livery cabs, so he was a cab driver, and then he did music and he did a lot of stuff. So he would always have an excuse for why. And plus, I'm young, so I guess he felt that he didn't have to explain nothing to me. Oh, you just a young girl, you just stay in your place. Because some men want you to stay in your place. They do what they want to do, but you can't do what you want to do.
Yeah. And
So
so
that
one,
was my experience with him.
okay.
And
Thank you, Yolanda. And one of the things that I heard the both of you talk about was that both of these gentlemen were older than you. I think that that is something that younger ladies need to be aware of. Why would you be attracted to someone so young? Is it so that you can have the ability to lord over them and manipulate and give them direction in the direction you want them to go, not necessarily to add to their purpose as one would in a marriage? I am a part of your story to help you to become all that God has in store for you. They are more so manipulators of their own agenda for your life, you know. And so, Lynn, I want to give you an opportunity to share as it relates to that question. Do you remember what the question was?
Um, was this the first time? Was this the
Yes.
one with the first time that um yeah. I honestly Yeah, that had to be the first time when I saw signs of it. And I still didn't, I didn't notice that was the call. That was the red flag to exit. But it was, we had gone to an event with some really prestigious people, I guess you would say. And I was having a conversation with the woman who was hosting the event. And I was complimenting her on her wedding ring, her ring. And she was like, well, she was much older. I mean, like I know she's not even alive anymore, old. And she said, well, you can have one of these too when you get married and blah, blah, blah. Now, again, I'm 19. So I was like, oh, me? No. Oh, well, no, I'm married. I'm not thinking about marriage right now because I wasn't about marriage or no kid at that time. I'm not having either one of them.
Right.
So I was like, no, I'm not thinking about marriage right now. I have a whole with my life. I got things that's going on. I'm acting and I'm modeling and I'm doing this. So marriage is not blah, blah, blah. Woo, what did I say that for? That conversation turned, and I didn't realize it probably until right now that wasn't even about the conversation, what happened. But say this, and I was all types of names. Now, it didn't happen at that time. It happened the next day while we were taking my aunt and her children to church. And he was fussing and upset, but when she got out the car, oh my God, I thought I wasn't gonna make it home alive. I was all type of bitches and stupid, and I would never marry you. I was everything, because I said I didn't get married, and I'm having this conversation with this woman. So the ride home from 91st in Stony Island to 40 in Champlain was horrible. Going through alleys, zooming through alleys. Bitch, I should throw you out to kill you. I should get you out, kill you in this alley right now, throw your ass in the garbage can. I'm on the passenger side. I'm like, Yolanda, I wasn't saying a word. Because at first I was like, but what are you talking about? I just said, bitch, shut up, bitch, I'm on that passenger side, like, Lord Jesus, please let me get home. God, please, God, please don't let him hit me. God, please let me get home. Don't let him kill him. Don't let him crash this car, Lord, because he was driving recklessly. And I finally got home. Let me decline this. They're calling me. Don't call me right now, people. I finally made it home, but when I made it home, everything that he bought for me, he took a knife and cut it up. One shoe, throwing it out the window. Underwear, throwing it out the window. Clothes, throwing it out, through everything. The shoe, everything out the window. And I'm sitting there like, did you really just cut up all this stuff? Please don't cut up them Jordans, though. But anyway, so he cut up all. That was my only first pair of Jordans. I didn't even wear gym shoes then, but it was like, if I had some Jordans right now today. But anyway, yes, he did stuff. And I immediately, now this is at my parents' house, and he was staying with my parents at the time, my parents and my brother. I lived with down the street with my grandmother, which was like 2 blocks down. I couldn't wait to get there. He didn't hit me, but he pulled on me. It was the aggressiveness with the pulling. You know how your parents chastise you? I felt like I was being chastised by my boyfriend, but this is what my mama used to do to me. Right. So now in my head, I'm feeling like it made me go back into a child. Mm-hmm. I'm not a child. I'm 19. I'm a woman trying to come into myself. You just took that away from me. A little bit of that away from me. But then you came back 24 hours later, 2 days later, and you apologize, and I'm sorry with the gifts. I didn't mean to. Let me make it right. And that's, Lolita, that's how it starts. It's the sign, it's the form of abuse, and then it's the apology after. And that's how it starts. Because we, Yolanda and I, and so many others like us, didn't know any better. Mm-hmm. We didn't know that this was a sign. We didn't know that this was the flag. We didn't know that this was the time when we were supposed to turn around and run as fast as we could without ever turning back. Instead, we became, we're, what is the word I'm looking for? We became their, you know how it is when you, I can't think of it. When a woman starts doing that, just like your mother, nurturers. They're caregivers. They're nurturers. We became that person that's, I can fix it. We became fixers. That's what we become. I can fix it. I'll make it better. Let me help. We became all those that's under that umbrella. That's who we become when we get involved in those situations. So yes, that's the beginning, and that's how it starts. Definitely.
Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
Lynn, did you see that when that, and in that first encounter, did you deem that as domestic violence?
No, no, not at all. Not at all. No, because like I said, he didn't hit me.
But even
He scared me. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, even with the aggression, you didn't see that. Was that a red flag to you, even if you can recall?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Seeing that, yes, it was. It was because it startled me, and it's something that I had never been through before. I had never seen my parents go through it, you know. So yeah, that first encounter did did, and I did think that, oh hell no, I can't do this. This man, he pulling on me like this. It scared me. So I saw it as some form of violence, but I didn't see it as domestic violence. No, I have to honestly say I didn't. I didn't.
Okay.
No, not that incident. I just saw somebody that was very upset and angry. That's all I saw was he was up. Because remember I said he snapped out when I said that I didn't want to get married. So why are you so upset? Because I said it wasn't like that. So I'm explaining myself.
Right.
So I didn't see. I just saw somebody that was very upset at the fact that I didn't want to get married. Okay, nigga, okay, man, I'll marry you one day, but it's not great right now. Oops, sorry. But yeah, no, I didn't see it as domestic violence. No.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and Yolanda, so what about you? So your first encounter, did you see that as did you deem that as domestic violence?
No, I did not think that was domestic violence because, like I said, domestic violence in my, what I thought domestic violence was, yeah, you know what? I didn't know really. I'm gonna be honest. I really didn't know. I didn't never take a thought of it because I remember finding out that he only did it because he seen this is what a pattern what he saw. And when he saw his dad doing this to his mom, when I even brought it up, they thought it was like it's nothing, we do this. They come from the South, so the Southerners, they could do that and it's like nothing to them. They shut up under the rug like it never existed. So because I was not ever educated on it and never watched it growing up and never seen like what is that, what are they doing that, so I didn't never give it a thought. I just knew that I didn't like what I was going through, but I never thought it was nothing. I didn't.
So
You can easily dismiss something. Mhm. And you can also just shove it up under the rug like it doesn't exist because you wanted to that just be something that just happened and I'm moving forward. So that's just how it was with me.
so you chose to treat it as an isolated situation and you just wanted to forget about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did at the time, because it wasn't consistent. No, it was more than it should have been because it not only just was the hitting, the pulling the hair. He started throwing things at me and then start, gaslighting. Oh, what's wrong with you? You making this up. I didn't do this to you. Why are you crying? I ain't do nothing to you and stuff like that. So he's trying to make you feel like you really crazy when you're not. So it goes a long way because it's not just them just physically looking at, I mean, this man could look at me like if looks can kill, I was dead.
Wow.
So, you know, it was a lot of mental and emotional. It was some verbal, it was more than just, it was more, a lot more.
Okay, so when I'm thinking about this type of behavior, I grew up seeing a lot of domestic violence, and it wasn't just with my family, but it was even with my friends. And so for me, I remember the first time my boyfriend, he slapped me because I didn't want to be his girlfriend anymore. And I remember just telling him, you better not ever put your hands on me no more. I don't ever want to have nothing else to do with you. And I was done. I was done. At 13 years old, I was done. I'm like, you don't
Mm-hmm.
get to put your hands on me again, because I grew up with this, and that was something I wanted to reject. I wanted to push that lifestyle as far
Right.
away from myself as I possibly could, because I wasn't going to be your punching bag. And so for me,
Yes.
even as a woman, I
Yeah.
still struggle with PTSD because of some of the things that I've seen. And even today, if somebody is expressing something that is like super violent, I told you when I opened up One Eyewitness, that is
Yes.
Yolanda's book. When when I opened up the book, I opened the book to the page where the pictures were of your situation, and I quickly shut it. I was like, oh, I can't do this.
Mhm.
I can't do this. So I could not do it in that moment for whatever
Yeah.
reason. It was just very shocking to me. And
Mhm.
PTSD
Triggering.
kicked in.
Yeah.
I mean, it just did. And so, so
Right.
why was the authorities
Yes.
never a part of these dynamics? Why did you never reach out for help? Were you afraid that more hurt would or harm would come to you? What was it? Why did you not think to call the police?
Oh, well, I did. I did call the police. I called the police maybe a couple of times, but because, like I said, there was um, no, restraining orders. There were no like jail time for it. It was just you take a walk, cool off. It was a cool off moment. So they would tell them to go walk around the block, come back, and then everything was okay. So after they did that, I don't remember him coming back attacking me or anything to that nature. And then my father got involved. My father came upstairs one day and told him, if you ever my daughter again. And he had his peacemaker with him, and he told him, don't you ever put your hands on my daughter again. So when he tried to abuse me, he tried to do it where nobody could see it. Nobody, I had, and for him to do it in front of my cousins, I can remember we were downstairs and he told me to go back upstairs. And I was like, I just wanted to, hang out with my family. All I knew is like this. I know, right in front of them. I was so embarrassed. I was like, why would somebody do that to somebody? I started hating myself. I just didn't know why I was allowing this to happen. I was afraid of him. I really was afraid of him.
Yeah,
But, you know,
yeah, I have to say that again. So you start off by being smitten, then you think you're in love, then you start off, and then you start becoming the caregiver, and now you're in fear. Now you're trying to figure out, how do I get out of this situation? If I call the police and the police come and don't do anything and he's back on the street, he knows where I live, he knows where I work, he knows my family.
Mhm.
I'm already being threatened. He's already made it perfectly clear, if I can't have you, nobody can. Nobody will have you. I will kill you first before I allow you to be with another man. You're hearing this over and over again. And when I finally did get the police involved, and we wasn't together anymore when I finally did get the police involved, and I have to say, yeah, I did leave him. I did leave him, but I did have restraining orders on him as well. But you listen, you have the restraining orders on this individual, but then you turn on the news and you're seeing that this woman was killed, come in her house, blah, 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 about her boyfriend and about her husband. She had a track record of restraining orders on him, but they didn't. That's a piece of paper. That's not a fit at your door, walking you home at night or from work, making sure you're okay. Because again, the police did not take it so seriously then than they probably do a little bit now more today, because they were the ones that was mainly doing it to their own wives.
Oh, wow.
So there was always a pat on the back or man, go cool off. Don't worry about it. You know, she'll be all right after a while. You need to just get away and go cool off for a little bit of that. And that was the honest to God's truth. They were not, we just did not have the support that we needed, especially us. We just didn't. We didn't. So it was hard, and to your parents, and so you don't have that authority, and then you have your family and your parents, that now you're scared for them. So it's like, do I tell them I got myself in this situation? I have to figure out how to get myself out of this situation. So that's what it becomes. And then I can tell you how I got out of that situation.
Okay.
I did.
So congratulations. Look, I'm glad to hear that. So we're not there yet though. So I wanted to ask the question. I want to know, Lynn, you only have been in one situation. So was there ever a time where you felt like he wanted to take your life, like a near death situation?
Yes. Yes. Yes and yes. Yes. Yes.
What did that
look like? That looked like, I'm sorry. This is just so, I'm just so grateful that I'm here to be able to talk about it. But to have a gun at your face, pointed at you because you didn't cook something right, or and it's not even, it's not about you. It wasn't about me. It was about the control and the power. And for a person to be able to put fear into somebody who has a spirit that is very positive and uplifting and loving by everybody that you come in contact with, but you can't seem to do nothing right with this person that's supposed to love you and protect you unconditionally, and to have a gun put at your face and have you locked into a room because he was afraid that if I left, I wasn't gonna come back. I don't know what you did that to me because you was mad at somebody else, not even at me. But to have that happen to you, that was one encounter. That was the encounter. And this is to have your life flash before your very eyes like that. But the thing is that I'm a fighter. That's how I grew up. I just wasn't a punk. As much as he wanted me to surrender, to have all the power and control over me, he could, and that was an issue. So yeah, you locked me in this room. Yeah, you put a gun up to my head and you told me don't leave, and you left, but I'm not stupid. I was scared. I was afraid, but I knew how to escape. I mean, you lock me in a room, there's a window in the room, and I'm only on the first floor.
Right.
I'm a jump. And so I did. I jumped and I ran. It was dark. Didn't know where the hell I was running down 103rd Street, but I was running. And I ran to the first house that I saw people sitting on the porch. And those people helped me. Yeah, and that was my first encounter. And that's when my parents were like, oh, hell no. My mom, I mean, they were there. My mother was my mother and my father, but my mama, she a little bitty thing, but that mama bear, we talk about that mama bear, that bear is real, because she came and got her baby, both of them, my mama and my daddy. But yeah, that was the first. That was one that really chokes me up still, because of and it chokes me up so much because of what I see going on today and what I've seen going on over the years.
Yeah.
And the ones who did not make it, that
Mhm.
did not make it. So
Thank you
I'm
for
sorry that I didn't mean, I didn't
No,
know I was going to do that.
look, let me tell you something. Your tears do not ever compromise your strength. So it is good. That is a life-changing experience. And I could only imagine what that feels like. That has never
Yeah.
happened to me. But when I'm just thinking about it, I can feel your pain. And I'm just sorry that that happened to you. So don't apologize for your tears. Your tears are appropriate. They are appropriate. So give yourself permission to feel. It is okay. Um, Thank you, Lynn, for sharing. Yolanda, um, please share.
Okay, well, I didn't go through a near fatal incident with my first abuser, but the last one is what really took the cake. And because of him being so charming, so charismatic, he was very loving and caring, so giving, and he made people think that he was that that hero.
Mhm.
He came to rescue when you needed him. He was a very hardworking man. He was a teacher, not teacher like literally teach, but he would teach people how to do things, get up on that roof, do tarps, and he would teach my sons. And basically, he was just trying to teach them how to be men. But whatever happened as as time went on, there was a dark side to him that I never could have imagined seeing. Sometimes there were times when he would just shut down. He would not talk to me days at a time. He had threw his alcohol on me before, threw my phone down the alley, called me B word. He grabbed me where my lip had busted, and I was embarrassed to tell anybody because I felt that he didn't mean it. In my mind, no, he didn't mean it. He didn't mean it, but in my mind, I didn't want to tell nobody that he meant to do that because I just felt like when he grabbed me, it was probably with too much force and my lip would gotten away. Just like we always make excuses for bad behaviors. And we always say, oh, I tripped too hard. I fell, my head hit the cabinet, my eye got black. So we make all these excuses why we don't want to raise no eyebrows to nobody, because when people come around and they come around you and they see him with you, you don't want them to get them side at like, he abusing you. So you would rather not say anything, and you would just keep it quiet so that people won't say anything. But because of I watched as the relationship would go, him, being a little bit more aggressive. I had to put him out like 3 times for disrespecting me. Um, there was time I was on the phone with one of my line dance sisters. He was really in my face. The girl, she was like, Yogi, you better be careful because he sound like he gonna do do something to you. But of course, because he was charming and he didn't look like that type of monster, I was like, girl, he ain't gonna do nothing to me. He loved me. So I still kept, dealing with it. And between the times that I put him out from different things, I mean, one day I went out, Cass, he had these events every year, and me and my girlfriends got in my car and we went. I mean, it was right up the street because I lived in Hyde Park. So when I got back, I had all top shelf alcohol in the house, and everything was like on the counter and everything. When I got back, everything was poured out, and it just felt like, oh yeah, you got mad at me because I didn't take you, but it was just a female thing. So he got mad about that, and he threw everything, poured everything out. So in my mind, I started laughing because I knew. I said, okay, I'm gonna put your out because you just really being ignorant. It's just like a kid that do something and they throw a rock and they hide their hand. So that's the way he would do things. He would act like he ain't did nothing wrong, and then he'd go lay in the bed like, yeah, I got you. So what I did, I was like, I came in the room and I was laughing at myself because I said, I'm gonna put his butt up out of here tomorrow. So you can never put a person out while they're there, but when they leave, you got all access to get to going. So when he called me the next day after he was at work and he thought he can get up, and he didn't say it to me or anything, but he got up and went to work. And when he called me, it was like, are you gonna pick me up? I was like, no, and you not coming to this house. Oh baby, I'm sorry. Now they want to be, I'm sorry. Oh, I love you. You ain't the B word. Please, I love you. Please forgive me. I won't do and all that. Okay, we fall victim of believing and trusting what they say. So I let him come back. So then another thing, I had to put him out another time. I don't remember what it was, but it was a total of 3 times I put him out. So before I was gonna put him out again, that's when it started really going downhill. He was like drinking more heavily. I did not even know this man was heavily drink the way he was. He would eat like a lot of sweets. Like, don't you know cake icing? He would go in the cabinet and eat my whole cake icing. And I didn't recognize that may be a form of somebody's on drugs. I know now, but they was like, Yolanda, that's when somebody's on drugs. They eat a lot of sweets. So, he was an engineer on his job. And on his job, people thought he was that great guy because he never, ever even let people think that he was even nothing but a great person. Because like I said, I was his good morning star, his sunshine, boo-boo kitty. I was his everything. And he even told me, you all I have. Remember telling him, no, I don't want to be all you have. That's scary. So he was like, won't you just quit your job? And I end up quitting my job. So before, I want to say March 22nd, 2016, my son was in his room, and he came out. He was like, Mama, you need to leave him. You need to put him out. And I'm like, I ain't worried about him. He's not going to do anything to me. And within like that next week, that same 2 other people, one of my girlfriends, she was like, Yolanda, the Holy Spirit told me that you need to do something because he's going to do something to you. And I still didn't believe it because he didn't give me, I was not ever afraid of him, but I went through all these channels with him calling me bees and calling my ex-boyfriend, telling him I was having sex with other people, and all stuff in his mind. See, all this stuff in his mind, and it was not even happening. He was accusing me of stuff that was not even existing. So I started thinking like, maybe his age, because this man is 11 years older than I am. So I'm thinking that, okay, maybe he's going through Alzheimer's. And I know that he had a lot of issues with his family, past hurt and everything. But after that, he decided that, I guess he wanted to binge. I believe he wanted to go on a binge. I don't know what made him do this, but I know on March 19th, this was a Friday. I got up, he got up, and my son got up. Normally it's a routine. I take him to work, and for some reason, he did not even ask me to take him to work. He got paid this day. So I was like, oh, okay. So he ain't asked me. So it took me, I was taking my time of going to work this day. So I was like, okay, I got time to take Josh to school and I go to work. So by the time it was time for everybody to cut, he never showed up. So there was no call, no show that Friday. There was no call, no show that Saturday. There was no call, no show that Sunday. But he started calling me later on that evening, like by 8 o'clock or 7 or 8 o'clock that night. I mean, consistently, back to back to back. I mean, obsessively. And I just turned my phone off. So I knew I was going to get a call the next day. So I started receiving calls around 3 o'clock that afternoon, and I was getting myself from school. So he asked me, he said, "Are you on your way home? Are you on home?" I was like, no, I'm not getting home or whatever. But didn't know that he was already there at the building. My son said, "Mama, he seen you when you dropped me." I did not even know that he was even in the area. So as I I dropped my son off. I went to go get something to eat in Hyde Park, and he called me again. And I believe he knew that I was gone, but I guess he was trying to see if I was gonna lie. So I was lying to him, and I was mislead. I mean, I didn't lie, but I did deceive him. And I told him, "No, I ain't gonna be back for a while." But I end up coming back. Something told me to park my car around the corner. So I end up parking my car around the corner. So I came around and I end up proceeding to the building. So when I got to the building, I didn't see him because he was wedged up into the doorway. And once him being wedged up in the doorway, I didn't see him. So by the time I got so close to before the doorway, he came out on me and I froze. So once I froze, I'm like, oh my God, he caught me. So then he was like, oh, I thought you was gone. I was like, okay, I'm back now. So I ended up opening the door. He came in behind me because he didn't have any keys to the house. So he came in. After he came in, he started telling me immediately, "Oh, the doctor said I was stressed out." And then in my mind, I'm like, I wonder, I still didn't think this man was going to have any plot or plan anything to me. So I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, why? Because your money gone. Because I watched the bank account, it was like just dwindling away because I didn't touch it. I didn't take the money out because I could have took all the money out the bank account and just put it in my account, but I didn't do that. I was like, this is this man's money. So I end up just, I remember sitting at the kitchen table. We were talking, and he asked me, and I don't know why I said no, but he asked me. He said, "Can I take a shower?" Now, why would he ask me that? Can I take a shower? And I'm like, no, like that. I really didn't mean no. So I was like, no, go get your shower and get yourself ready for work for tomorrow. And that's all I remember. Once I did that, um, I want to say about 10 o'clock that night, I went into the room, and that's when I seen him. He was sound asleep. So I came back out the room. I went into my bedroom, into the living room, and I watched TV until I want to say like 12 o'clock, between 12 and 12:30 in the morning. So I knew it was time for me to, wind it down. It's time, I was tired. It's time to go to bed. And the next thing I know that I did go to bed, but I didn't wake up. I didn't wake up the same way I went to sleep. I woke up to someone that I didn't even recognize. I woke up to a hammer brutally beating me and leaving me to die in my own bed. I couldn't imagine the person that I trusted with my life, someone that was good morning, morning star, good morning, you my sunshine, you my everything. For someone to take a hammer and to just attack me the way he did, he crushed my skull. All of my bones in my facial side on the left side are broken and shattered. That that's why I don't have my left eye anymore, because the damage that was done. I had multiple surgeries after surgeries. You're looking at 13 surgeries later. Because of grace and mercy, I am here, and my son. And if it wasn't for my son, I would not be here today. But I thank God for grace, mercy, And I want to share with people to let them know that domestic violence does not have a look. You don't have to look a certain way to be affected by domestic violence. It's the aftermath of what the devastation, how it not only affects you, it affects everyone. Your friends, your family, and your loved ones. My son had to witness this. Not only did he have post-traumatic stress, I dealt with post-traumatic stress. I dealt with waking up shaking, waking up thinking somebody's always beating me. And every time I go to sleep, I would wake up like a boom, and I would be shaking, I'll be biting my tongue, all these things. And then my daughter started having seizures behind it. So it is so, so important for us to get out before it's too late, because we don't see it. We don't see it because we don't believe that the person that we lay around with every day, or you around every day, that could even hurt you, because it don't appear that way to you. It may be the writing is already on the wall. We just don't see it. We have those blinders on where we just ignore it because we looking at, oh, they're not gonna do anything. They love me, and it's happening way too often. We are not paying attention to these red flags and warning signs because we choose not to. We think that it's okay. We have to, be able to have a safety plan or get somebody that we can trust to put us in a position where we can get out safe. It's a safety plan. There is help out here. There's so many people that don't want the help because they feel like they're ashamed, they're embarrassed, they don't want to tell nobody. We rather shove it up under the rug like it don't exist. Please, if anybody is going through domestic violence, please pay attention, because if it can happen to me, it definitely can happen to anyone. It does not have no age, color, gender, or sexual orientation, or anything to that nature. Man, boy, girl, cousin, anybody can be affected by domestic violence. So it's important for us to really, really be educated. Knowledge is power. Don't allow no one to discredit you because it's not physical. Domestic violence is not just physical. It's not just the intimate partner. Domestic violence is a pattern. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of violence, and it's just not just physical. You can be going through the mental, emotional, the blame and the shame, the guilt, all of that. You don't want nobody to know it because you're the only one that's going through it. But you're not. You're not alone. You do have options to get out. Get out safely, please.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, Yolanda. Wow. You said a lot. I think that one of the things that stands out the most is that your son found you like that. And he was the person that helped you to get the help that you needed to save your life. And I
Absolutely
cannot even imagine what that experience was like for him, but just that he was capable of doing what was necessary to preserve the life of his mother in light of this person that he had just shared with you that you needed to step back from this relationship. And this man actually carried out this heinous crime on you. And so I'm sorry.
I was saying, yes, that's very powerful. Everyone in that same week that had shared that had that feeling, that had that premonition, that something that they saw what she couldn't see. They were the people that was on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And they see what we couldn't see, and even how she escaped, how I escaped. And I know I'll say this, and then I know I have to get off and get back to work. But I was 6 months pregnant when I left him, and I escaped. And it's funny because your son saved your life. My unborn child, my daughter, saved my life.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even here.
Right.
So it was our kids. I tell that story all the time. It was her They gave me that strength.
Yes.
Must see this to say, this is it. This
Yeah.
is it. Somebody's gonna die. It's gonna be me, her, or him. And I'm gonna die, and I'll be damned if I'm great lose this child I'm carrying.
Right.
So
Right.
it was just that strength. There was that strength, and God and his sister
That's a blessing.
that were there with me that day. So that was it.
Well, I'm so grateful that both of you were able to get away from your abusers alive. Um, Yolanda, you endured a lot for the sake of love, and love should never hurt. Love should never harm. Love should
Absolutely.
never do the things that have happened to you all. And so my hope is that someone who is listening will and they find themselves in that place, that they will be able to see two amazing women, beautiful women, that have been able to make a different decision and change their lives around, and get away from the circumstance. So I want to say thank you to both Yolanda and Lynn. Thank you both for coming on. I do want to ask if you have any last words, any last things that you would like to say to the Navigating Life with Coach Lowe podcast audience.
Yes. I just wanted to let you all know that first, pay attention to the red flags and warning signs. You are not alone. We believe you, and you do have options. Trust your gut instinct. If it doesn't feel good, it's not right. Um, we look at it as that everything is just so cute. Oh, just a little simple, like, take that off. I don't want you to wear that. I only want you to wear that around me. Those are some red flags, or nobody else wants you around in the family. You shouldn't be going out with them. They bad influences on you, or they want too much of your time. Those are like warning signs and red flags. So yes, always pay attention. Create a code word. It's always important to have a code word, because sometimes if you are in immediate danger, someone would at least say, you know what, they'll call me, because I would say, you know what, girl, I need a glass of Kool-Aid. That would be my signal. Get me some help. So you always have a code word, and you always have a safety plan, but you have to have a safety plan where somebody that is a professional that can help you get out and get out safely. So just love yourself, stay focused, and encourage and celebrate yourself, because I celebrate me every day. Thank you for the opportunity. You have to
Thank
celebrate
Thank
yourself.
you so
you.
much.
Yes. Thank
What about you, Lynn?
Yes, thank you, Yolanda. As she's so right about that code, and we do have codes. Of course, we're not gonna say them right now, but we do have them. I have business cards, and on the back of my business card is the 800 number. So I pass my business cards out, even if you're not. Hey, girl, you need to. So I have a way of doing things. You need to come get your hair done. Call me. Call me. And so, another thing that before we get off of here, I have a foundation. It's called Silent Cries. One word, SILENTCRIES, Silent Cries DVA, Domestic Violence Awareness. And in 2016, I founded Silent Cries, and what I do is I put on an actual show. It's a performance, and I have a live forum. So it's a live documentary. And right now, I want to be able to put my documentary on film, because so many people in different areas ask me about the documentary, but I tell them that it's a live performance. Now I need to get it out there. And what I'm trying to do is to be able to have a crew where I can get sponsors to come out, and maybe someone can sponsor me to help me get this film up and running. So because I have it's written out and everything, I have my whole manuscript. I just need some backing. Yeah. And Yolanda also, she has One Eyewitness. She has her book that she's written, and it's a wonderful book. So we're out here doing some footwork.
Yes.
So Silent Cries is the name of my documentary, and that's her book, Eyewitness. So
yes.
We just want to call today. And thank you so much, Lolita.
Yes.
Thank you for having me. We truly, truly appreciate it, because October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We know it's breast cancer awareness month also, but all we see is pink all long. We hardly see any purple. And I am a voice, not a victim. And my voice, I have to be a voice for those who live in fear and for those who are no longer able to speak because they lost their lives due to this silent killer.
Absolutely.
So we're voices. We're not
voices.
We're not.
We're thrivers.
Yes. And that's.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for being voices and not victims. Thank you for being a voice for those who no longer can speak. Thank you for saying yes to this opportunity. And I hope and I pray that there will be people to your answer that will come alongside you and sponsor you to bring this silent killer to light, you know, because it is a silent killer. And we need to bring more awareness to the forefront. And it doesn't just need to happen in October. This is something that people are suffering from on a daily. And so we will continue to do the work for families, for the individual woman, the individual man, the child who is being abused. And so again, I want to say thank you, ladies. Thank you to the podcast audience. Thank you for your listening. And we're going to say good night. Good night, ladies, and thank you so much.
Good.
Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot.
Okay.
Really, really quick. Yolanda, also the girlfriend of ours, Nikki, is doing. We will be live on Facebook and Instagram, and where's the other one?
Periscope.
Periscope. Monday evening at 8:30. We will be 8 o'clock. We will be going live speaking about this again. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, so it's Monday. What date is Monday? What?
The 26th, October 26th.
Okay, October 26th on Facebook, Periscope, and Instagram.
Yes.
Okay, at 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you heard it. You heard it from the horse's mouth. 8 o'clock. IG, Facebook, and Periscope. You will hear from these ladies again. Please tune in. Whose page will they be on? How do they connect to who?
Lynn. My page is Turner Lynn. That's who I am on Facebook, Turner Lynn. So
Turner Lynn on Facebook, and Yolanda.
Right. Yolanda Carter / Cake Mix on mine.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
On Instagram, it's Silent Cries. So that's my Instagram name, Silent Cries DVA.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you have it. You heard it. So we hope to see you there on Monday night at 8 p.m. And again, we are thankful for everybody involved. Thank you, ladies, and thank you to the Navigating Life.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Y'all. Thank you so much. Good night.
Bye. You're welcome. Good night.